Hey, looks like I'm live. Alright, so let's see what trouble I can get into by trying to change some things. Usually I don't do this when nobody's around, so this will be fun. Looks like I am streaming. Trying to figure out how to change the name. Not that. Not that. Tell people I am online. Okay, I think I've got this going properly. At least I hope so. Should be with the slight delay. Seeing first thing I'm going to do now. Yep, awesome. Which is start to respond to some backers. Hey, hi guys. Yeah, I'm in the office. I do try to do refunds occasionally on the weekends, mainly because they take time. And I know people think, hey, you should push a button and it just does it, but it doesn't. So yeah, I come in occasionally on Saturdays and or Sundays to get things done. And since I've been so behind with all the stuff because of my vacation and then going to Abu Dhabi, I thought I would come in today and get things done. How's the volume, guys? We good? Cool. All right, let me make a post with this. Tell people I am online. I'll get some writing done, get some posting done, maybe some questions, whatever I feel like. So first, let's go to Facebook. Okay, so that gets that done. Now I gotta figure out how to change the name. This is what happens when I do things by myself. Oh, hell, yeah. I mean, you guys know I don't live stream a lot, and I certainly don't do it without technical assistance. You know, I just don't get it done. without help. Oh, how do I change this? That won't do it. So, any of you guys on there know how to change the name of the stream? I know there's a way. Obviously, there's a way. I just don't know how to do it. Okay, I'm going to go to another tab. I am on the dashboard. What I just tried didn't help. Yeah, I know. Don't do it on the visible screen. I'm already ahead of you. I've got it on the right monitor, and you guys are seeing the left monitor. So. It says title this broadcast, okay? I am looking for that. I must be blind because I do not see it. Title this broadcast. Where are you? That might be the problem. Let's try that again. Because I wasn't on the live tab. I wonder if it's because I am signed on as MBJ as opposed to the City State Game account. I wonder if that's the problem, because I don't see that. Oh no, there I am, City State Games. What am I doing wrong? Group chats.
Hey, Jedis.
So anyway, yeah, it's got to be. I think that's the problem, that I am coming in as myself. Well, we won't worry about it for now. Figure it out eventually, or hey, we won't. So yeah, today is going to be kind of boring for you guys. And then, well, who knows? Maybe it won't be. I got a whole bunch of refunds done, things that I really wanted to do during the week, but man, just never got a chance to. So I figured I might as well do it here before I got here. Here meaning Twitch. So now I'm going to do some other things. First up, the ever exciting, let's go to the different places on the net and do some posting. People always seem to wonder at how I get a lot of things done so quickly, so I'll give you some examples. I'm going to go to Massively, start to respond there, and then once that gets done, maybe I'm going to do some writing, but also answer some questions, and we'll just turn it into a chat. So go over to Massively, go to the thread that went up thanks to Bree, and I hope you all saw it. It was a nice update from us, and you know, let's see what we got in the last couple days. Music's a bit loud. Okay, let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, we'll wait for the Twitch delay. Tell me if you guys like this so much. If you like this better. Sorry. How's voice compared to now the music? Cool. All right, so let's see. So one of my more favorite posts is DK0 is pretty funny. Sometimes trolls other, threads. He, she, I think it's a he, and I have exchanged a lot of posts over the years. We get along really well. Okay, so what is he worried about? That we might be sexing it up, and then Francis responded, okay, this is an easy one. So, you folks know, I said we weren't going to get on the hype train and, push things before they're ready. And frankly, even then, try to, chill a little bit on them. And in this case, what I think it was Tyler who wrote that bit on the Iris, it was just explaining, really, what we were doing and not trying to hype it. I mean, that's pretty typical for us, right? We say, hey, this is what we're doing. We don't say, oh my God, we're the first people ever to do that and we're going to do it the best. And all that nonsense. We just talk about it. And so that's what I'm doing. So I hope everyone's having a great weekend. We having a pretty good weekend here. I went to see, had a nice dinner, and then went to see Arrival last night with the Lady J. So that was fun. I won't offer any comments on it, quite frankly, because that would include spoilers. So I won't even do that. All right. So that's done. Continue going through this. So let me look at some questions. Fremster, if you're getting client crashes every 2 to 10 minutes, sadly, no, that's really good actually. We've been trying to track down a bug in the GPU with a bug with the GPU. Sorry, that we've I think been able to only replicate once. So please post on the forums, give us a DX and if you continue to have this problem, like early next week, we might want to attach a debugger to your box, because this is one of those things that so far we haven't seen any real commonality. I mean, Tim can get it to happen. It has gotten it to happen a few times. I think Max, whose machine always breaks stuff, got it at the end of the day Friday, but it's not an easy repro. So that'd be great if it happens to you. I am sorry you're the victim, but if you can help us out, that'd be fabulous. About DX12. Yeah, we heard a lot of good things like everyone else did about what it would do. And as Farrell says that, yeah, on some cards it does seem to be doing better. That is something that I know a little bit about, but not as much as certainly Andrew. Fortunately, we have not been relying on on DX12 for our speed increases. Oh, Paladin, go get some DD and coffee, depending on how quickly you can come back. I'm just going to be here for a bit. So I'm going to be posting on, here on MOP. I'll head over to MMORPG, see what's going on there, then get some writing done. Of course, on the name tags. Yeah, that would be, hey, we've got this great stealth system and great darkness, but there's a big glowing arrow over your head. Of course. No worries. Of course, that won't be there. It's there for now for obvious reasons. We need to have it there now. It's the only way that, it's one way we know that, frankly, who we're fighting. Fremster, oh good, thank you for that. As far as the voice recognition, Odovic, actually my wrist has been really good for the last couple of years. I know you may remember me being in the wrist braces at times, certainly more than 2 years ago. But it's been good. I think though that last writing jag I went on, I think it was Wednesday, when I sat at the desk for 8 hours straight. Other than, your bathroom break and grab some water break, and I wrote an entirely new graphic novel. That probably had something to do with my wrist being hurt. Okay, let's go see what else I can say on Massively. Alright, here's an easy one. Okay, that was a real easy one. You know, keep putting your questions in there, guys, and you know, I'll certainly answer them as I can. All right. So, oh, hey, hey, JG. Okay, some questions, and then I'm going to go over to MailChimp and send out a message, tell people I'm streaming. There are plans to improve the animation in Geodata for the Beta 1. Yes, absolutely. The animations right now have placeholders. The animation system is something that we whipped together, Andrew whipped together really quickly. It is not by any stretch of the imagination close to what we want for live, nor even for Beta 1. Do we plan to have dragons in the game as world bosses? No, because the dragons that I have referred to in the various Becoming stories are not things that would be not only raid bosses, but nothing you'd want to face. Smog is like easy mode compared to the dragons in my head. What happened to the Warhammer chapter of the CU Wiki? I haven't the vaguest idea. You could ask Max, James, or you can ask maybe Genesee. I got nothing to do with that. You know, is it? I don't. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I was just thinking maybe, you know, somebody issued a takedown notice, but that's a wiki. They wouldn't do that. So no, I've got no clue whatsoever. As to it being a strange time for a Q&A, well, actually, I came into work. You know, I got here 12-ish. Did some refund stuff, did some stuff for Abu Dhabi, talked to one of our backers, and then since I'm here, might as well get some streaming. So hold your questions for a minute or two. I am going to go and send out an email to everyone that if they're interested in joining us for streaming, I am available. Almost done, folks. Give me about 2 more minutes and I'll be done with email. Okay, I think this is a simple one to get out. Okay, I'm back. So email is going out. And yeah, let's see what we got here in terms of questions and stuff. I look grumpy. Oh, I'm not grumpy. I'm happy. Frankly, nothing to be grumpy about. I had a nice brunch with Janet and got some work done. And you know, it's not my favorite part of the of my job, coming in, especially on the weekends, to do refunds. But you know, why the heck not? You know, it's better than trying to get them done on a Monday morning when I have other things to do and don't want to start grumpy that way. Certainly, you know, if I got the ones I need to get done today, and honestly, most of the ones were really good today in terms of people being polite, including I know somebody who's in the stream and very nice about it. There were none of the, you know, you suck, you guys were late, you know, blah, blah, blah. There was only a couple of the, well, you know, I've been backing you for a few years, but now I can use my money for something else. I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks. Hey, I do appreciate it. We have spent, obviously, some of that money, frankly, on making the game. But, hey, you know, so it goes. Will quotient detection have an effect on your allies, or you might run through your own realm mates? That's something, obviously, that we would all like tactically. So, on the other hand, if it's something that we had to disable to make it make the game more playable, we would do that. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Will there be a gameplay stream today? Oh, well, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. Actually, I go into the game. I haven't been in the last 20 minutes. Hopefully, it's up and running nicely. It certainly looks like it is. Okay, let me answer another thing up on MOP. Let's see, what do we got from Thorns? And of course, the ever popular Francis jumping in. The guy has certainly spent a lot of time on MOP, on other sites as well, being supportive. I really do appreciate it. Did you all see the other article on massively about Mythic and some of my early games? Yes, Fang, it is live and reasonably uncensored. Okay, that's going to require a bigger answer, so we'll go back to here for a moment. So, collision detection, first on, obviously, players from other realms is a necessity. On your own realmmates, it's something we want as well. Mainly because if we get into formations like we had a March on Oz, having collision detection would be sort of necessary for that. The first one is absolutely required to make a great game. The latter would be very, very helpful to make a great game, but is not quite as much of a necessity. Yeah, let's push it to no, Fang, no reveals, just me chatting. I had to come in today to get some work done, and I figured while I'm sitting here, maybe doing some things that I don't mind showing, because certainly I'm not going to reveal players' information on the screen. I figured I would turn on the stream, ask some questions, answer some questions, and hey, just chat. Yeah, go get some coffee, get some good DD. You know, again, I'll be here. If I was going to do a reveal, I certainly would tell you folks I'd be doing a reveal. That would just be wrong to do that to you folks. That would be mean. And while I certainly like teasing, you know, that wouldn't be something I would do. Oh, why is there a folder for Irish? I've got so many. If you can look, if you actually looked on the other bookmarks, you would see a ton of other things as well. You know, I have notes on so much stuff and so many, folders, so I can easily get at data. So, you know, I have got, as you can see, I've got Irish, North, I've got North stuff on space games, got stuff on C#, logins, the Kickstarter tiers, all sorts of stuff. So, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things. Dome is resubbing to Dayak, thanks. You're welcome. It was a great game made by a great team. You know, I wish we still had control of it instead of the person that does. But hey, you know, EA had their favorite person and their not favorite person. And since you guys know me and know how straightforward I've always been about everything with you folks, you can probably put 2 and 2 together as to why a certain person has those rights and another person doesn't. Thanks for in terms of an amazing job. Yeah, we're kicking butt right now. We are incredibly happy about the guys and gals in Seattle, which is great to be able to say, guys and gals, because that's how it should be. And the hell with the sausage fests that happen in some studios. That certainly was never old Mythic, and I'm glad it isn't and won't be here. In terms of me not being EA's favorite person, yeah, not so much. You know, we had some obviously disagreements about things. They had their opinions. I had my opinions. And when my opinions involved telling them where they were being stupid, or in some cases doing things that I thought the board of directors should know about, yeah, that did not endear me with certain people there. James, in terms of the art animation team, no, I'm not even thinking about that right now. Mainly because we know we can get them when we need them. We are going to do some outsourcing, of course, and we're certainly willing to add some people here as well. They're going to be streams from Seattle, absolutely. Some of those guys are a little bit camera shy, but I think that will change once we get into an office. And hopefully that'll happen early next year. Dome, I thought MJ was everyone's favorite person. Yeah, that is so far from the truth. Look, I'm not even VC's favorite person because I'm not somebody who's going to bullshit them. And unfortunately, there are some very smart VCs, but there are also some not smart VCs. And they like to be told tales. They'll deny it, but look, anyone who's watched the game industry for a while can tell you, if you're buying into a company because the founder says, "Oh yeah, we're going to be a billion-dollar company in a few years," then you either are naive or you want to be lied to. So yeah, that's one of the reasons when you look at the history of Mythic and even CSE that we don't have VCs pouring all over us. Because I won't BS them. No bashing of anyone here, especially No Man's Sky. Not because I have any sympathy in specific for the developers there, but I don't bash other developers, unless they bashed us first. VC Freaks is venture capitalists. The guys who put in a lot of money into a company in the hopes of making a hell of a lot more money for doing it. So, okay, let's see. Let me answer what's going on here. This is a big one. Actually, I didn't have to say anything in that one. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Okay, that thread's done. So let me head over to the one on Mythic and some of the my old games and some of Mythic's old games. Justin did a really good job. If you haven't been to this thread and you want to know some of the background on Mythic Entertainment and the games we did and some additional background on me, great thread to go to. Justin really did a great job on the questions. And this is only part one. Part two was, I don't know if it's bigger, but it's certainly about the same size. I mean, we were just going at it in Skype texting, so that was kind of fun. Andres, the only thing I'll say is I hope you'll have time to play before your wife has a child. We are certainly pushing for that. I'll let you know by the end of the year. Oh, hey, thanks, Vigorous. Much appreciated. Hopefully we'll keep you entertained even more. Hey, Hotfire, how's it going? Can I tell you the total war budget? No, I can't do that. That's an EA secret. But what I can say, because I can do this without giving a number, it was way less expensive than any other MMO that EA released within a few years afterwards. Frankly, it was a bargain for EA. By the at least of what I've heard, was the budget of SWTOR and ESO. EA got a bargain comparatively on the cost of development of war. They really did. We were cheap to operate compared to the BioWare studio. And this is not because the BioWare studio inflated costs or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just a different kind of studio. BioWare, spent, and this has all been documented, so I can talk about this. BioWare certainly spent a lot of money on voice actors. They certainly had a much larger team than we did. They had to pull in people from other studios, so that drove up the price. We didn't, so that is that made a very big difference. And I can tell you again that the budget was for what EA made on the game. It was a very good budget. So yeah, they can't look at that game and go, oh yeah, it was a failure. Especially if they looked at what I said it was going to do in terms of its numbers. Okay. All right, let's go over the mop and see what we got. We got something from Kramit. Okay, back to questions. Could you misclick on the crafting tab, please? Yeah, no. Zube, hey, how's it going? The visuals are looking amazing. Yeah, we're getting there. Between the art team and the programming team, we are, absolutely starting to kick some butt on the look of the game. And that's really important. I mean, look, we've told you folks right from the beginning that that we were going to not be the best looking game in the world, but we weren't going to be the worst. And I think we've already met that bar. And I'm hoping we'll go even, and I'm not even hoping, I know we're going to go even further graphically than we could, or that we planned on back in 2013. One, because we're late, and that's always an advantage from that perspective, because every year that goes by, the game just, or the video cards just get better, and prices come down more. And on the other hand, now that we have additional engineers in Seattle, including the great and powerful George, we're making even more progress. And, this is all very good for you guys. Let's see, scrolling back up. In terms of gear, we've said very right from the beginning, H4, that it's going to be not like most games, in that we don't expect a lot of the contribution to your ability to do damage, your ability to attack faster, all that stuff to come from the weapon. It's a horizontal progression game, so you can't, start the game with a sword that can barely kill a rat, and then end the game or reach what would be the the soft cap with the equivalent of Excalibur decided to have sex with Stormbringer and then did some drugs to make it even more powerful. So obviously that's not happening. So you'll have better and better armor and weapons, but not at that sort of progression rate you're used to in other games. Grave Wax, yeah, there won't be any OP shenanigans. I certainly hope so. Are you still considering character aging? Absolutely, still considering it. Is there a video somewhere, Biggs, showing a recent build? The most recent one would be the one from DragonCon, and that one is already dated. I would suggest going to our website and looking at the last 2 weeks of updates to see some screenshots. Odovic, the answer about damaging armor directly, yes. Zubaye, you keep saying that, but you have gone way past not the worst. I know, but look, here's the thing. I've told you all right from the beginning that I'm not getting on the hype train. I've done that. We had to do that with Warhammer. That was part of our mission. We were part of EA, and it was really important for us, especially since our advertising budget was disgustingly low. You guys would cry if you heard the how bad the number was, even in context of the times. So we had to do everything we could to build hype, because that's also a way we got attention from the mothership. Crafting Dock, Builders Brigade, Heartfire. Builders Brigade is probably going to happen a little bit sooner. We are catching up, thankfully, with everything, and we can start paying more attention to Cube once we get into beta. So yeah, that's got to happen. Caswell, thank you so much. Again, as I always say about Dark Age of Camelot, it was a great game made by a great team. Everyone on that team, every single person deserves credit for that game. They all worked really hard. Some obviously worked harder than others, and I'm not referring to myself. I always work hard. That's just part of me. But other folks as well really poured so much of their heart and soul into it, and they deserve a lot of credit. And that's why, for you, those of you who have watched my streams before or my interviews, one thing you'll never hear from me, and this is never ever, is taking all the credit for that game. There are some developers in the industry who do like to do that, unfortunately, where they do want the lion's share for everything, and most times that's simply not true. Dark Age really was great because of the way the team pulled together and did things that everyone, I mean, literally everyone, thought that we could not do, with the only real exception, and God bless them, being Vivendi Universal Games. I love those guys and gals. They were very supportive of us. Fezzer, Phil O'Neill, and everyone else there was just wonderful. So, anytime people complain about publishers and distributors, yeah, a lot of times they do suck. But VUG was great for us, and nothing but mad respect and love for those guys, because without them, putting our game in a box and getting it to the stores, it wouldn't have happened. So are we using Vulkan? No, we're not. Could we use Vulkan in the future? We are very, very, very connected to some of the folks involved in that project, and it's something that we are certainly keeping an eye on. To the Living Guild's Tome of Knowledge, JG. Well, yeah, since I cared very deeply about those things, and the Tome of Knowledge was my idea, that's something I would love to do here. I think it's important, and I think we can do a great job. Now that we have more programmers, it is something that I could see expanding in the stretch goal down the road. Hammer, AWS also drops your cost significantly. Actually, no, it doesn't. It raises the costs because AWS is great, but it is not cheap. We do it because it allows us to spin things up very quickly without the need to go to an ops center or have a network, or have an ops guy full time. It is a temporary solution. It is not a permanent solution. God Heal, hey, thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, look, one can always argue how upfront anyone is if they don't tell you absolutely everything that's going on at every minute. And I know sometimes people go, oh, why don't you tell us about this? Well, I can't, for a whole variety of reasons. Everything I do say, I want it always to be 100% the truth, even if the answer is something that people won't like. Anyone who's gone through my interview process, especially the guys and gals in Seattle, know that one of the first things I say to them is that I am going to feel free to ask you any question I want. If you don't like it, let me know. I'm also going to give you the exact same courtesy. There may be sometimes I can't answer a question, but so far no one's asked one that I can't. I need to be straightforward with you folks. You're our backers. I need to be straightforward with other people because that's just kind of been my life. I am not perfect. Nobody is, but I try to be as close to that as I can when it comes to that part of it. Certainly. Let's see. Hi, Zumos. Yeah, so that's a question I talked about actually during the Kickstarter. And there are many ways you can do it. One way, for example, and you don't want to do this, but you could, certainly lock the number of people that could enter an objective or enter an island or go on a boat. There's all sorts of ways that you can do that. Because certainly you don't want to have the small objectives always being overrun by the Zergs. The other way to do it, and this is something we've also talked about, is through travel. I mean, if the bottom line is, if we don't have instant travel and even faster travel is limited, then going around in the rotating or roving furball that is a Zerg that can go from one to another very quickly. If you can't do that in our game, you're going to have to pick your spots better. And that's, one of the main things we're after. Will crafters have any use on the battlefield? Oh, no, absolutely. Of course they will. They'll be able to operate some kinds of siege equipment. They'll be able to make things on the fly. You'll be able to use them as ammo. No, just, sorry. No, they will absolutely be useful. Any info on the EU servers? Yeah, well, the same thing I've also said from the beginning. There'll be EU servers. There'll be, servers in the US that the folks from the EU can get to. Same with the EU servers. We're going to leave it up to you backers. As to how many there are and where you guys and gals want to play. As to the guy who promoted Warhammer Online, no comment now or ever. By Heartfire, if I hadn't seen you, I was scrolling, so it takes time to catch up with things. Will the game not go live on AWS? We'll see. Look, at the end of the day, it depends on pricing. There are other cloud services, and look, we love AWS, but they're expensive. And so the question is, what makes the most sense for us? I'm skipping a couple of the questions from people when they've been answered, so don't think I'm skipping you. Well, I'd either be skipping you by accident or because I see, other folks answering the questions. Is there a realistic chance for a CU graphical novel? Oh, more than a chance. It's going to happen. Just a question of when. It's easy to write the Becoming stories. Graphic novels can be a bit more taxing, and certainly to release them takes more time and effort. So we have limited resources, and it's something that I certainly want to do, but we'll have to just see. Will Camelot Unchained be as tough as Dayak? In some ways. So it really depends. In terms of endless horse routes and all that, the thing to keep in mind, and this is so important, this is, again, a game of horizontal leveling, not vertical leveling. So you're not going to have to level your character in the ways that you do in most other games. Will there be endless horse routes? No, there won't be endless horse routes. But it is going to be a slow leveling game. We've said that. But keep in mind, again, it's a horizontal leveling game. And so having a slower leveling actually makes a lot of sense, makes it a lot less painful. As to no West Coast server, no, don't say that. There may be a West Coast server. It depends on how many backers and players we get. We could certainly spin up. For example, let's say we had most of our servers in the colos, and then only used cloud services for additional capacity. Spinning up then something on the West Coast as opposed to servers here or somewhere else would make a lot more sense. For someone looking for an internship from God, well, in our case, just send us in into jobs, an email over to jobs, and we are always looking for interns. Doesn't mean we actually take them, but we're always looking. Some of the people who are currently working here started as interns. Sam Boardman, of course, you'll be able to play with U.S. players. We've also said that from the beginning. We are not going to region lock in North America and Europe ever. We promised that during the Kickstarter. We promised that before the Kickstarter. And we are not, nor will initiate any conversations with people if it starts with, hey, we want to operate the game for you in Europe and we're going to region lock. Yeah, not happening. We've also said we don't have any interest, which we don't, in licensing the game to somebody else to handle Europe. You European folks deserve the best, and the best in this case is dealing with us. Not because somebody else couldn't provide a better service, because maybe they could, but you should get the same things that U.S. folks and North American folks do, and that can't happen unless it's all part of the same company. Odovic, the expansions will certainly be the kind I love, focusing on new races, focusing on new classes, radical new features. Look, anytime you do an expansion or in an extender, you're going to piss off somebody. We can't worry about that. We can't. We just can worry about making the game better while always keeping true to the foundational principles. So an extender pack, or in this case, an expansion pack, that would be adding PVE, that can't happen because that would piss off, or PVE leveling, excuse me, that would piss off a lot of our backers, and so we aren't going to do it. Does the Seattle have a physical office yet? Nope. They are looking on a weekly basis for the office. Unfortunately, office space in Seattle and the environs has gotten tighter because of all the people moving there and growing their companies there, but we'll find a space. Lord Nation, as you know, metrics are important, and we've already started, and we've already got a lot of data, and we're going to get even better. Will the front line go back and forth? Well, parts of it will. Where's the front line when there are a lot of islands? So think of it that way. Gypsy Dancer, hey, haven't seen you in a bit. The answer is no, don't worry about it. JB's already talked about things like that. So, yeah, no worries. Trust me on this one. No worries. Yeah, certainly darkness should have an effect, especially real darkness should have an effect on battles. And, we're going that way. Will there be camera modes with zoom, filter, and other gimmicks? Yeah, absolutely. We certainly want to make the game look better and better. If you upgrade from a physical tier to a forever tier, do you lose your physical rewards? Absolutely, because you're exchanging your tier. If you have a physical tier, you could just buy the lifetime add-on. But when you change tiers, yeah, because you're changing tiers. Everything is based on the tier that you have. Brian, we're always going to encourage people, to play on the underpopulated realms. Otherwise, they get even more underpopulated. So we've talked about, Andrew uses a phrase, we want to make losing fun. I've co-opted that into meaning not just individual fights, but the whole metagame. How are the new programmers, too skeptic, how are the new programmers helping with the timetables? Well, let me be really blunt. Without the all the folks we added in May and in the last few months, we would be F star 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 star. That's the bottom line. We would have been in trouble. We told you we needed more programmers. Boy, did we tell you we needed more programmers. And if it hadn't been for those folks coming in, we'd be way behind schedule. Timetable wise, we'd just be screwed. In terms of the game, it still would have come out, and we always said that. It just would have taken a lot longer. But now with the 4 programmers there, the 5th joining in January, and hopefully a 6th and maybe a 7th, I think that you'll see the timetables increase, or the speed as we move through the development process will increase rather dramatically. The new people have done real well. The last guy we added, he's doing an absolute kick butt job, and I'm excited about the candidate as well that's joining us in January. It's all good. We planning to translate the game to Spanish? Yes, I would very much like to do that. We just need support from the community to do that, or a stretch goal where the Spanish community and other people, Spanish-speaking community, help back us to make that happen. This alpha has been taking a long time. Yes, it has. Is beta in sight? Absolutely. Look at where we are today. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Go in the game, see how the world looks, look at all the components we have already in the game. Beta is absolutely in sight. Quiet 9. That's always the challenge. Of course, it's one of the reasons that when I've talked about guilds in the past, having amazingly powerful and big guilds is a problem, and that's something that we have to look at right from the get-go. Lost. How long until we can't purchase lifetime subscriptions anymore? Sometime in beta. Hammer, you like the interactive streams? Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know I should do it more. It's hard to find the time. Certainly, especially coming back from break, I have just been crazy busy. And then I went through that damn 2-day migraine jag that I got that preceded the new graphic novel I wrote in 8 hours. That was a weird one. I mean, I churn out things quickly. I mean, you've seen the the writing challenges. But man, to write an entire graphic novel, 122 pages in an 8 hours, just again, writing jag, that's a new one. I definitely push myself hard, which is why, hey, I've got this on right now, I think. Lord Shaddai, sure, send me an email. So willing to talk about it. Any future plans for other platforms? Right now, no. The engine is being tailored to work, for PCs. Could we move it to the console at some point? We will for Cube, but for Unchained, that would be a major change to the really to the target audience. And since our game really does benefit by using a keyboard, it would not be my first choice to move Unchained. Shapeshifters, I'll let you know more on some of the things that were post-launch once we get through beta with the extra programmers, and maybe if we get more, we can even bring in some things, but no promises. Feral rock, paper, scissors is so important. It's always going to be important in our game. It's something that Ben and I always keep in mind. Cleanse in terms of the game's fauna, not in the short term. It's something we obviously have to do, but it's not a focus for us right now. Too skeptic, any master levels planned? No, right now the game is all about essentially the master level. It's all about working your way up. Paladin, in terms of selling the physical tier stuff separately, maybe one day, but we'll see. New races, nope, not focusing on right now. You know, Doc, it's we got. Frankly, I have other things to do. It's something I would like to do, and if I get inspiration for something, maybe, but not a focus. Fangbin, can I combine two tiers like Stormwatch and Innkeeper? I actually have no idea. You're the first person to ask me that. I'd have to think it through. One of the things I've told people, all of you people, right from the beginning, is that our tiers will never be pay to win. I spent so much time making sure that the more expensive tiers did not have anything that could be construed pay to win. Even the most expensive, tiers don't have that. I don't do things like that, not with this game. It doesn't make any sense to do with this game, etc., etc. So I really have to think about that. Quiet. Oh, you're welcome. Again, it was a great game. Strike, can we marry in game? I'm sure we can add that. That certainly would fall into the RPG stuff that I know a bunch of people want. Dark Horror, great. We're always looking for people to help us in the translation department. Zumos, the class from pre-pro into production. That's always challenging. It's something I think we're doing really well so far, and it's something that we're just going to have to keep working on. In terms of every class looking the same because the armor is going to be the same, and that's always the challenge when you say that people can wear the same armor and use the same weapons. There are ways that we can encourage people to use and wear the same armor or wear the armor that belongs, to their, really fits their class better. But it's up to you. This is the game. Will you be able to buy additional character slots? Absolutely. We've said from the beginning that is something that... so Strike answered that. Thank you, Strike. You are absolutely correct. Buying things like character slots is not pay to win in any way, therefore I'm fine with it. It's not also nickel and diming the player when you can start the game with as many slots as we're going to be giving players. We're not doing the nonsense of, hey, you can only get 3 slots for a game that has 10 races, but you can buy more from us. That'd be crap. We're not going to do that. Odovic, would we ever limit account sales? No, we wouldn't. If it's more successful, fantastic, great. That wouldn't hurt us. Not a focus. Cleanse, how do you get leather? You can use a / command to get it in the short term. I know it's kind of, old school, but for the opening of Beta 1, I can live with it. Will there be an anniversary event? Yep, absolutely. I love those things. Any new merchandise on the horizon? No, mainly because I don't want to take any time from the art team to do it. And again, once we get into beta, then we can look at it. Hellskip, yes, you'll be able to grow things in the garden beds. Will you be able to mix and match armor and dye? Yes. Can we get mini games? Yeah, maybe. If you add fishing to the game, we certainly want. I would love to add fishing just for fun. I was actually playing around with a simple system I was writing in C# just for well, just for giggles. We'll see. Let's see. From this, how will be UI? How far will UI friendly to modding? Incredibly friendly. If you look at what we said so far and how we're using Chromium to build our UI, I think we will have the most open UI system in the MMO industry. It's already open. We have a mod squad and all that. So that puts us close to the top, if not the top. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back. All right, let's go back to any other questions on MOP. Okay, well, actually, I think I'm done there. Cool. All right, back here. That exhale sounded ominous. Oh God, no! I've just been talking for a bit. I am just fine. I've been losing weight and starting to work out again, so catching up again. All right, let's see what's on the forums. Been posting some this morning. See if there's anything else in there I need to respond to. Okay, well, I've got a private message from somebody, so I'm going to move over. Don't want you guys to see private messages, so excuse me for the blue screen. got a message from a backer. Ah. Okay. Let me go back to the thread so I can actually, you guys won't be too terribly bored. Okay, that takes care of that. Edit the title on this. That. Okay. Cool. All right, so back to this. Losing weight, does that mean we need to rally and get you new polo shirts? Now I got tons, and then actually just went shopping yesterday. Picked up a bunch more on clearance and and extra discount. So I'm still a cheap New Yorker when it comes to some things. But no, I got plenty. X1, how will you combine the longevity of the late game with horizontal progression? Will be there faster, initial skill gains, and much one slower. Yes and no, and let me explain that. So we're certainly not going to speed up the low level expansion. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the low level leveling in order to get people leveling faster and then really slow it down. But it does get slower at the end because of the soft cap. So that's why yes and no. Will Crafter be able to produce high-level items in multiple areas of expertise? Yes, but not all of them. Too skeptic. Are there more than expected refunds happening? No, not really. I'm a little disappointed at some of the ones we've been getting in the last 2 months, especially since we were moving along so well with the game. And so that was a little bit surprising. But hey, so it goes. If people who have been backing us for the last few years pull out, okay, they pull out. If they're pulling out because they think we're not going to deliver, then they're going to be really disappointed as we move through beta. I know it sounds easy and potentially not even true to say that we've solved so many of the technical problems, but that's what we've been doing. So, things like large-scale battles and the new animation system. Oh, I think I need more music, etc. Will all be solved by the time we're in beta. Now, there are other ones, of course, but we've solved so many of the hard ones that I'm not really worried about whether this game will ship. It's more a question of when. And now that we have the folks in Seattle, it will ship faster. Okay, so why don't we take some votes for music, since this stream will probably be banned anyway in a whole bunch of countries because of the music. So I'm going to move through my music and see if get any crazy votes from people. I've got everything from the 50s to rap and modern rap and Hamilton and all sorts of fun stuff. Uh, you know, I do have a wide range of musical, tastes, and, I vary them as well on, what mood I'm in. So I'll take things out of the library and then back to the library. So it was funny on the, yeah, you prefer Andrew's music. Andrew likes some pretty serious music. He's the whole Swedish death metal guy. I'm not like that. I can listen to it occasionally, but not the way he can. I actually find that the classical music helps me in my writing. Drastic. Oh, nice. Did she accept? Yes, obviously she did. Right, because it says your wife. Awesome. Congratulations, Matt. Glad to help. And do I have soundtracks? Yeah, I got all sorts of soundtracks. So as you can see, yeah, I've got a wide range of musical likes. I'm not just stuck in the 50s or 60s or 70s, 80s, 90s. Don't care. If I like it, that's cool. The only thing you really won't see much in here is jazz. Uh, I've never been really big on jazz. And some of the music I'll use for like workouts, like Walk the Moon, is one of my favorite bands for when I do my weight training. On the other hand, when I get on the treadmill, it would be Kansas. For whatever reason, it worked really well, and so I stuck with it. This song from the Righteous Brothers is actually Lady J's and my favorite song. So a little bit of information there. Okay, so anything that people saw that really interested them, or I could put back the um, classical music. Funny you mentioned Pink Floyd. One of the things that I'm going to talk about in a personal update when I was on the cruise ship, got to know a couple of the entertainers, and one of them is a really cool, dude who, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favorites, um, who is in the Queen show there, and he also did a set, acoustic guitarist named Bob Wegner. Great guy, really, really talented. And he did an awesome set on Floyd. Just an awesome set. All right, so Floyd or Queen? Okay. What do I feel more like? Now let's do some Pink Floyd. So putting up some Floyd. Why isn't it? I'm not. Are you guys? I'm not hearing it. That's strange. There we go. Great. So yeah, this was actually one of my favorite albums when I was in school. My roommate and I spent should be coming up right about now. The beginning is always a little quiet. We spent way too much time listening to it, and you know, possibly using illegal substances. College. Yeah, hey, Chaos, that's what these guys voted for, not me. I said I listened to any of it. I don't care. I love it. Everything in here is stuff that I like. They're the ones who said Floyd or Queen. So either way, hey, it was kind of music I liked. I'd be happy to switch after this album to something else if I'm still talking. Because I think everything in there I like, other than maybe a couple albums I grabbed from Amazon Prime just to see if I liked them, and then I was disappointed, which is a shame. So we can get back to questions for a little bit, if you guys and gals want. I'm still here. Nothing interesting in my email, which is good. Can we expect some gameplay from me today? No. No. A little while longer. I want us to get some more things in before I head out to Abu Dhabi in 2 weeks. And then maybe. Yiddy, are you still committed to shipping a 100% done game instead of rushing it out? Yeah. Kind of, sort of. We can't rush it out, especially after we've been this late. That would be bad. So no, we're not going to rush it out. And we're not rushing beta either. Would I like to put more humor in CU, James? Yeah, absolutely. I was pushing humor for war, and there will certainly be some here. We'll have to see how much. Well, this is a good one from Odovic. Which member of the team has surprised you most since we hired them? Oh, that is a tough one because I had really good and strong expectations about everyone here. So let me think about that. I want to do it in a way, of course, that will not be disrespectful to anyone on our team. I think I know what the answer is, but I want to think about it for a bit. Paladin, that we made Dayak with only 25 people. Yeah, that's 100% true. We started with about 13 and grew to 25. There's a lot of cool stuff. I've answered the question about stuff like manuals and posters. Yeah, we'll probably do some of it, certainly. How much, we'll see. Do we keep in touch with Jen? Yeah, as far as we know. We hear from her every so often. She was here during the summer with her daughters. So, as far as we know, everything's good. Are we going to do more with the Viking armor? Yes, of course we are. James, is the art direction to GW2? Well, it's certainly going to be getting darker in some ways with the depths, so we'll see what happens, whether you think it's unified or not. Any news on finding another community manager? No, we haven't started looking. It really hasn't been a focus of mine. Certainly, it would be nice to have a CM here, and we'll need it as we go through beta, but we didn't need one immediately. Will guilds have their own banner? Yep, we've talked about that. I've been really clear in the past about how I feel about private servers. I think private servers for games that are dead, I am all for. It's a little dicier, of course, with games that are still up and subscription based, depending on whether they just reverse engineered it. Are they making money off the game? I think if they're making money off the game, they should be shut down. I believe that copyright laws in that respect are very good and true things. You shouldn't be able to profit off somebody else's existing content simply because you were able to reverse engineer their server. That I've also been clear on. On the other hand, setting up private servers for free, that's where it gets, certainly more interesting and a little bit more confused. It's hard when you look at a company like Mythic was or other companies that are trying to make money and survive, or just, in many cases, they've taken big investment, pay back the investors, and then you see private servers set up with or without stolen code, because sometimes code, unfortunately, gets stolen. And you see them making money without having to do a lot of work. On the other hand, those who truly reverse engineer and really put a lot of time into it, then it gets, that gets a little more dicey or a little less dicey depending on your position of whether that should be allowed or not. So, that's not the For me, that would count as a sort of wishy-washy answer, but it's a really complicated question, incredibly complicated question. On the other hand, again, I've been very clear on how I feel about private servers for dead games, and we've made our position again also clear on what we'll do if anything ever happened to see you. Bilford, in terms of Dark Age, thank you very much. Again, as I always say, that was for a game made by everybody who is part of that team, and on behalf of all of them, thank you for the kind words. Is night going to be that dark, Skeptic? Yes, it's going to be dark. That's why we have people who have magical abilities and those things called torches. In terms of stomping, by higher levels, yeah, that's something we've all talked about. So, we've got a bunch of plans, and then we'll see how that works. Oh, I didn't know Marek was pagan rights. Oh, or maybe I did. I forgot. I didn't think so. When will they be approached? God, not right now. Soon, but not yet. And yes, they will have a lot of input into how we do things. Coach T in one way, true reverse engineering is flattering. Oh, sure, certainly. On the other hand, if you're, again, trying to survive as a company and, let's say you lost 10% of your income. That's 10% that's not going to the team, especially if you run a company like I did back at old Mythic, or I am running here in CSE, where the team benefits by whatever money comes in. Mythic and CSE have a, I like the word aggressive, royalty sharing system. So every dollar that doesn't go to the company means that a percentage doesn't go to the team. And, a lot of people think, well, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you're just hurting the publishers, and, publishers so often don't really pay the developers, well when the game is successful. Mythic and CSE will do the same. Anyone who is part of that 25 team and part of the team that came on afterwards benefited with our profit sharing plan at Mythic. So if somebody comes up and reverse engineers you, sure, it's flattering, but let's say you lost 15% of that money, and then you as a developer then lost your share of it. Would you find that flattering, or would you be pissed? Am I worried about a government corporate crackdown on internet speeds and content? No more than ever. If it happens, it happens. I am certainly not concerned. I don't want to talk politics. And I am, just to be clear, I was not a Trump supporter, and I'm not wasn't a Hillary supporter. But stuff like, what might happen under, Trump is just not something that I talk about on the stream. Anyone who's at CSE, excuse me, or who's at Mythic, knows my opinions on certain people and certain, politics. Oldovic, everything looks a little bit too colorful right now. It sure does. Don't worry about it. As I keep saying in my updates on purpose, this is just a first pass. George is giving over the knobs to the art team now, so they can make changes to it. His goal, as it always is for a programmer working on something like graphics, is not... I just got a message from Janet. Is not to certainly make it perfect for the artist. It is to, or for the backers, it's to make the tools so then they could make it, the artist, and then with some additional programming help, make it perfect. So how it is now is just the beginning. Be right back. Got to answer an email. am back. Will there be more classes at release because of the delay? We'll see, hopefully. Be nice if we could pull in some of the extended classes. How strict will RP server be enforced? This is something I've said right from the beginning. All the messages seem to be coming in right now. If we're going to do a true RP server, we want to do it right. And so that would mean probably stricter enforcement, but we'll see. For those of you who have left, you're welcome. This was fun to do. No news about the Ulfinar race mechanics yet. Haven't spent any time on that. Haven't spent any time on it. You know, Tarian, you can have that opinion if you want, but you know, when you say things like that, keep in mind that when games are then rushed, then you also forfeit the right to say, "Oh, well, I wish they hadn't rushed the game." We're an independent developer, and if you're a backer of ours, you've seen, you know, our weekly updates. You've seen how much that work we've been doing, and you know, if we're not fast enough for you. Obviously, refunds are available. We are working our butts off to make a great game for you folks, and I know the vast majority of our backers believe it is better to get it right, you know, than to rush it out. And you know, again, if you think that we, you know, have done a bad job, I'm sorry for that. I really am. But we are working our butts off. As you know, here it is, a Sunday, and I'm in the office doing refunds for people and getting some other work done, and you know, taking time out of my day to stream. And I know other people who are working at home over the weekend as well. So, you know, again, it's your, you know, it's your donation, and if you think you know, we haven't been doing our job, all you have to do is ask. On the other hand, like I said, gamers, like all of us who I think are in the stream, we've always said that we wish that developers would take the time to get it right. And, you know, we're not taking the time to get it right in the sense of we keep balancing and rebalancing things. We're taking the time to get it right because we didn't have enough programmers and didn't want to rush out a piece of shit product to you guys. We could have. The option was there. We made this really clear before, you know, we made the decision to refactor, you know, the ability system. We could have band-aided it out. We would have put the other programmers who ended up working on rehab on other things, and you know, we could have gotten either into beta like we had hoped the last time, or been awfully close. But we sat down and had a serious conversation about it, and we made a decision that we knew was going to be unpopular with some people, and I'd make that again every single time. So that's my opinion. How can you get your hands on a beta key? Right now, you can buy a tier. Luckily, we're going to be going into beta 1 far sooner than some people expect, and you know, you'll be able to get that, get in that way. Will the game have seasons? Yes. How long will a day-night cycle be? That's to be determined. For those who are offering support, thank you. I know you, again, I know the vast majority of you, and I mean the vast majority of you know that. And we're going to take our time, even if it means people want refunds, because frankly, if they then decide to come back, we'd love to have them. They won't be able to participate in the same way as the backer rewards, but hey, that's okay. That's a choice they make. I respect every refund I pay. I respect the person's, you know, right to make that decision. Otherwise, I would just say, you know, no, I don't pick and choose between them. We simply have said we will pay refunds, therefore. Vigorous back. Yeah, I wish I had one more year. I asked EA for that year, and EA said no. They might have said yes if any of the other team members had supported me on that, including the one who is still running Dark Age of Camelot. And not one of them would back me. Not a single one would say to me, yes, Mark, we think the game should be delayed, and I'd go with you to EA and say the game would be delayed. Not one. And if I had one of them, and I even said this to them, if one of you will support me, I can go to EA and I can fight them even harder. And not one of them would stand with me and, face EA's wrath. You can imagine what I thought of that. Especially when I went to EA anyway and I said the game should be delayed. I had to be honest with them, which sucks. Maybe part of me wishes I could have lied to them, but I never did. And I said, look, I think we need more time. I think launching against WoW is going to be a big mistake. We're going to lose a bunch of our players. And, give me more time. And I said, unfortunately, I also have to tell you that no one on the team agrees with me. Because that would be the first question they would have asked me. So, will the water graphics change? Oh, God. Yeah, the shader, what we're doing to make water, Andrew would call ghetto. And it really is. Figure a couple weeks to do a really cool water shader to get it right. So we will get it right. Will we have GM events? Possibly, certainly. That is something we do on the role-playing server. Oh, okay. So the question from the person who just asked me the question, I think you're thinking that we're delaying beta because of the rough edges. No, I don't care about rough edges. Beta 1 should be all about rough edges. We're delaying it because the game wasn't the game. We didn't have the ability system in. So why launch? And again, we could have gone down the Band-Aid route, or we could have gone down the, hey, let's get a lot in and just even more say old school beta, and try to cheat you people. That would have been kind of easy for us to do. And I could have relied on, my boyish charm and flowing locks, to try to con you into that. But it's never been the way I do things. I suck at that, quite frankly. It's just certain people are very good at that. I am very bad at that, so I wouldn't do it. There's no point in doing it. It's not me. It's not what I stand for. It's not what I've stood for over 30 years in making games. Yeah, I make mistakes like everyone else. But lying to you folks or rushing something else to save money or make more money, kind of not, the way I am. Tulf, should I bother about people complaining? Look, people have every right to complain. We're late. And so if people want to complain, I'll always listen to them. And I'll always talk about it. We have been late for whatever the good reasons were. So you as backers have every right to say, hey, you guys are late. Whose idea was it to set the initial war release? Well, the initial war release was my idea, but I was basing that on the opinions of the team. We thought we could deliver. I mean, that's it. We thought we could deliver. Unfortunately, when we got to that last year, the game wasn't where it should have been. So if we had another year, we would have been fine, quite frankly, because a lot of the bugs that helped hurt war at launch were mysteriously fixed after I left. But that's a whole nother subject of discussion. But it is what it is, and everyone has to live with their mistakes in life. And since I know a couple of these people don't have souls, maybe they don't feel remorse. I feel remorse mainly because of the people, both at Mythic and people who wanted to play the game. They were expecting a great game from us, and we could have been a truly great game with one more year. As a girl game, I'd like to see some cute flower armor. Hey, bug Michelle, so would she. And certainly, I can guarantee you there'll be more things for women in our games. You've seen what we've done already with our armor. There is no boob armor. There are not the things that are there to hypersexualize women, in games. There wasn't that. There wasn't that in Dark Age. There won't be that in Unchained as well. But do expect things as well that gamers who are women or who like to play women in the games, will like. Michelle and Sandra will see to that. Engelberty, please don't make graphics your main focus. They aren't. You folks have known from the beginning that we are focusing on everything else, and we're getting graphics when we're getting the graphics when we've had the time and the engineers. In terms of the Outlook notifications, sorry, man, I need them. I get email as well over the weekend, and I kind of like them. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 months later was way too late. I agree, which is why I said if we had a year, we would have been able to fix those problems. It's it's really that simple. Would I have liked 2 years even better? Yeah, maybe, but a year would have been great. An extra year would have been absolutely wonderful. I think we would have been able to solve most of the significant crashing issues that we had. I mean, obviously they did. We would have been able to get in some additional content, done a better job bundling, and we would have found that problem in the progression after Tier 2 that made Tier 1 fantastic, Tier 2 until the end pretty darn good, and then Tier 3 and 4 feel way too grindy, and that was never my intent. Am I playing any other games right now? No, not really. I am spending most of my time writing and working. I've really not played any other games. Certainly in months. Jaleel, yeah. And there's a difference between crashing and a lag fest, so I want to be very clear on that. I was talking about the crashing bug. The lag is a whole other issue. But the crashing problem that we saw in Tier 4, especially at launch, got a heck of a lot better, after that. Yeah, we've talked about how Big Irish, we've talked about it, what we're going to do about Zergs right from the beginning. There is no, silver bullet. There is no, hey, one thing to do. What you have to do and deal with Zergs in a very well thought out and coordinated manner. And then you have to be smart enough to do something else, because whatever you thought was going to work might not work. Okay, so that's good. Let me answer another email. Okay, back to you guys. In terms of the user interface, for healing, we've talked about healer vision. For what other things you'll be able to see, abilities will certainly give you some additional information, but it will not be an always on where you get every bit of information about every player on the screen. We'd be able to load multiple abilities builds at once into the skill bar. I think as long as you're not thinking, you can have switch between the builds. But if you want, if we can get to the point where you can save different screens essentially, or different UI builds as opposed to character builds, yes. We'll see you live up to the War Legacy. That's up to you folks to decide, not me, unfortunately. I can only do what I can do, which is to lead the team and hopefully make some good design decisions, give the vision, etc. At the end of the day, it's up to the community, it's up to the players, whether it's a great game. I hope it will be. I think we're going to have some pretty awesome stuff. We already do. So that'll be up to you. What's my favorite game that you have played so far? Oh, that's a good question. So over the decades, I was a big Civ 2 fan. I played the heck out of that game. KOTOR was one of my favorite games of all time. I even recommended that game to Steven Spielberg in an EA meeting, which was interesting. I also loved WoW, especially Vanilla WoW. Well, really only Vanilla. Well, not only Vanilla WoW, but mostly Vanilla WoW. And a lot of other games that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head. But I play a lot of 4X games as well. Jaleel, yes, exactly. That's why we're doing things this way. For CU, I thought you were talking about Dark Age. We are absolutely, doing it this way because of what happened in other games. How do we manage periods of analysis paralysis? We don't have them. So far, none. I don't believe in analysis paralysis. I am very happy to make a decision, even if it's the wrong one, because we can always change. Andrew feels the same way. If your team is spending way too much time talking about things and not doing anything, then you're wasting time. Anything new on MOP? Nope. All right, so I think we're good there. Let me check the forms, see if there's anything I need to respond to. Immediately, doesn't look like it. Fantastic. Update the screenshots on the main page. Yeah, that's on our to-do list for beta. We really we really overwork James Koo. He's got a lot of stuff to do. So same with Charles. He does a lot of things. So it takes a little bit of time, but yeah, everything's going to be redone. Alright, let's get back to the stream. Where are you? There you are. Please check PM off the stream. I don't know what you want me to do. I am not, as you guys know, even a semi-professional streamer. So, what is PM? Okay. With the start of Beta 1, will the NDA be lifted? Not at the start of Beta 1, at some point during Beta 1. The reason why not at the start of Beta 1 is because things will probably blow up. You know, that's what happens. 3 top MMOs. WoW certainly would be number 1. I'm not going to talk about Dark Age or Warhammer because that would be unfair. So I put WoW as my first choice, Guild Wars 2 probably as my second choice, and I don't have any third choice. Those are the 2 of the MMOs that I played the most and that I really enjoyed. You know, I think that if I was asking about, if I was really factoring in Dark Age and War in there, I certainly would put Dark Age in there as well. I think for the time, Dark Age was an absolutely great game. We did so many things right with a tiny budget, and I really, again, I've always thanked the team publicly and privately for the efforts. In terms of the CU community, I think we got a great community. Every so often, you know, there's one, you know, person or a couple people who, you know, aren't the best in the community, but overall it's great. In terms of Guild Wars RVR or World versus World, I don't think that was their best work. I think that GW2 minus the World versus World was just a fun game, and it's the game that actually rekindled my love for MMOs. I was a little burned out, as one can imagine, by Dark Age, War, Mythic, and EA, and I wasn't going to go back and do, I didn't think, another MMO. And I played Guild Wars 2, and I just had so much fun. Did I ever play EverQuest and Ultima Online? Yes, I did. Like I said, but I didn't play them a ton. So I don't want to, you know, talk about, you know, them. I want, you know, putting favorite games or top 3 MMOs when you haven't played them. I leave that to some critics. You know, if I haven't spent a ton of time in the game, I don't think I should have any really right to stack rank them in any way. But I did play a lot of Guild Wars 2. I played an awful lot of WoW. I played a number of other games, and those 2 were by far my favorite non-CU games. In terms of Star Wars Galaxy, so I've got a really weird opinion on Star Wars Galaxy. I think Raph did some of his best work on it. I think it, you know, had some great things in it, but there were other decisions that I think were made outside of Raph, or outside of Raph's control, that I thought hurt it. So I didn't end up playing it as much as I did other MMOs. But I do think Raph did some of his absolutely best work on it. Hydra, you're talking about an Imperator. That was my concept from beginning to end, and I thought of it, and then I killed it a few years into development. The main concern with it is that it wasn't as much fun as I wanted it to be. We had done a review. I went and had done a deep dive into the game in its current state. I wasn't pleased with what I saw in some areas, and we had a choice to make. of either, pour even more money into it and hopefully get it right, or take the team from there, use it on Warhammer, and bite the bullet on the money we spent. And a great phrase from the ever-talented Rick Priestley was, sometimes you have to murder your darlings, and that's what we had to do with Warhammer. VM Brass, did War have a budget above or below 15 million? I can certainly say it was above 15 million. 15 million for an MMO at the time of war was a teeny tiny, unbelievably small budget. WoW's budget, as people know, they were the first MMO to spend somewhere on the order of 9 figures. We toned, let me turn down the music a little. Apparently, sorry, I've just turned it down a little more. I can tell you War was not even WoW's budget. How's that? Brian, am I satisfied with the amount of crowdfunding? Oh, yeah. Did I expect more or less? In terms of the initial launch, I expected more. By now, we're at about the number I thought we'd get, so I'm very happy. Are there any chances for a late 2017 launch? Any chance? Yes. Honestly, there is a chance. Is it a particularly good chance? No, it's teeny tiny. But on the other hand, we keep getting programmers. And if we got more programmers, could we possibly launch in 2017? It's certainly a possibility, but it's not realistic. I mean, we would have to get so many people added to the team, all senior people, MMO people, and then nothing could go wrong. All right, let's go back to classical. And I'll be probably wrapping this up in 20 minutes. Will you be able to purchase subscriptions? No, I can talk about that strike. Right now, we have no plans to do something like that. It really isn't part of the plan. Okay, so like I said, there was nothing there. Let's head over to our friends at MMORPG. Anybody got a thread going about us, new or interesting? I stopped by a couple of them on Friday. Nothing really pertaining to us, so I'm good there. What keyboard am I using? I'm thinking I'm using an older Logitech keyboard. Don't remember which one. I've had it forever. Or maybe not forever. I've had it for quite a while. This one. It's a K350. Clash. Yeah, I watched Arrival last night, actually. Brett, what's the plan to discourage gold spammers? Well, you know, if you played Warhammer and Dark Age, you know that I don't get along with those folks. Not at all. So, you know, we're going to be doing a bunch of things to discourage them, and frankly, we're not the right game for them. Gold sellers love games like any that have PvE. Makes it very easy for them to raise money and then sell it. Won't be the case here. Sensei, yeah, sorry. Stuck with it so far. So, and boy, it would have been, you know, easier. There's a lot of good, would have been a lot of good business reasons to rush out Beta 1, and we didn't do it. Can you make an MMO using Unreal? Oh, of course you can, but not our kind of not our kind of game. That's why, you know, we turned down the other engines. Look, the bottom line is not that their engines are bad; their engines are awesome. But we were trying to make a game with large-scale battles, and none of those engines had proven that anyone could make a game with really large-scale battles using them at that point. So, could you make a small MMO with it? Sure, you still got to write, you know, great server code and design and make a great game. But can you? Sure. Destructo, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully, you won't be waiting years more. Certainly not with beta coming. Tally, yes. Casuals and solo play. I've talked about that, you know, right from the beginning as something important. Excuse me, folks. So, we will have classes that will be better at soloing than others. So not every class will be a great soloer, but yes, there'll be everyone will be able to get involved. James, Michelle is great, and so is Sandra doing research on various games and on the actual sources of inspiration from the real world for their armor and weapons. Thanks, Strike. You too. You too, Tally. Okay, about 15 minutes, and I'm going to call it, you know, a night, folks. Or call it a day, actually. Oh, that's an interesting bug. Delete the IT server from the drop-down menu. Huh. Oh, good. I have to talk to the team about that on Monday. Actually, that'd be tomorrow. Pagan, you're more than welcome, of course. Coach, which part of the lore are you currently looking forward to writing? Sorry. Boy, all of it. You know, quite frankly, I enjoy, you know, the becoming stories about races. I enjoy it about classes. I enjoy all of them. Calder, I missed your note. Sorry. Actually, I'll skip ahead to Raldin. No, we're not thinking of licensing the engine at the present time. Counter, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Um, I plan, and we plan on leaving you, on letting you down. Ulrich, nice way to sneak in a question about guild size. We'll be able to equip my entire guild with that, with that number of players have 2 guild crafters. Oh wait, sorry, I misread that. My bad. I thought you were trying to ask. Ooh, there's 20 people. The number is that a good number for one guild? Got it. You should probably have 2. Look, the idea with our crafting system is that you're not going to be able to craft things really quickly, and so for about 20 people, you'll probably need more than one crafter, assuming they're all leveling up together. Once you get a high level crafter and a high level vox and stuff in the vault, then it's a different story, but you'll probably need more than one. Yeah, we've said, Terracon, we've said that part of our game is part of the game's success is predicated on small groups being able to do damage and occasionally take out larger groups. Yes. If you have a game where a small group can never take out a larger group, then bad things happen. So I think with the skill, hi Ziz. Yeah, I was going to change the name, and then I couldn't get it to work, mainly because I didn't know where to go to change the name. And then I got some help from people, and then that didn't work because I was probably doing the dumb. And so I bet I think I just found it now, actually, which would be way too funny. Yeah, I did just find it now because I am so clever that way. Oh, I thought I did, but apparently that did not do it either. Darn. I thought I had figured it out. Oh well. I'm glad you like the new login screen. And yeah, it would be a beginning of like I said, it would be a beginning of the week wrap up, but hey. What else? Can a craft act like a battle engineer? Yes. Jaleel, long time to kill and little CC. Once again, I've never said little CC. Never said that. Never. I've said from the beginning that CC and powerful CC is an important part of this game. What I disagree with some people about is what does the term CC mean? Does it have to be? No, I've said that there could be hard CC as well. We are starting with the premise of can we do it without falling into the tropish CC that games have? If the answer is yes and it works beautifully, then I'm right and great. If it doesn't work, then we will change it and go more traditional. You can't have a game where you can have small groups defeating large groups, or certainly doing serious damage to large groups without serious amount of CC. We haven't done it yet. We haven't put in classes for it yet because we want to get other things right first. I cannot be, I really cannot be clearer that we will have, oops, I think I accidentally did something, there we go. That we will have a significant, or CC will play a significant role in this game. Again, it has to. Now, the longer time to kill, absolutely. It means you can't one-shot people easily. And while that did play a role in Dark Age and some other games, CC, it also means your guys can't be one-shotted either. And if the time to kill of the attacker group is the same as the time to kill on the defending group, and when you're taking your shot at these guys, they can't simply unload, have a few people unload on you, and you're dead, then you'll have a chance for maybe another counterattack. So I do think it's a little more complicated than just, hey, fast time to kill and massive amounts of old school CC. But look, I've said this again right from the beginning. Whatever we have to do to make this work, we will make it work. It is no more complicated than that. And I know some people don't believe me when I say that, but a lot of you didn't believe me when I said we were going to keep working on the graphics. We were going to find a way to hire engineers. We will do what it takes. And like I said, I know it's hard for some people, to believe that because you've been burned by other, developers who said similar things about their game. But what have I said about Camelot Unchained so far that hasn't been true? I mean, where I promised something. I promised that when we couldn't hire the engineers here, that we had a plan and that we were going to do something about it, and we came through. I told you folks that, last year when the graphics didn't look as good, and you folks were, a lot of folks were worried about it, that they were going to get better, and they have. Trust me, we can solve the CC problem. If it doesn't work, if the first pass and my ideas or Ben's ideas don't work, I don't care. We will fix it. There's, one of the things that anyone who's worked for me in CSE and those who work closely with me at Old Mythic, will say, at least if they're being honest, is that I am willing to change anything if it doesn't work. I honestly, I don't care. My ego, isn't one equivalent to a bunch of devs who, if they have to force their idea in there, and if they can't solve the problem, they don't want to hear other people's solutions. I just don't care. I really don't. What makes me happy is having a great game, whether it's my idea, Ben's idea, somebody from the stream. Whatever works to make Camelot Unchained a great game is all I care about. No save, no gathering professions. If you mean crafters, they will be their own classes, but not just gatherers. And regular people, combatants can gather as well. They just won't gather as efficiently, and they can't gather the highest powerfuls, the highest level stuff. Okay, guys, 5 minutes, and I'm going to wrap this up. Been here chatting for a while, and I want to, call it a day soon, and maybe go out and see a movie or something again, and just relax. Well, then, how many resources are spent on soundtrack and game sound? Well, we hired a great sound guy by the name of Daniel Beck a year ago, and Daniel's doing a great job for us. So that's pretty good for a small team to actually have a full-time guy. That's a luxury item for some small teams. Vasir. Yeah, let's not bring politics into this. Maybe one day I'll have a, when I exit gaming, go into streaming, and you guys will hear what I have to say about politics. That would be amusing. Odovic, you're welcome, man. It's been fun. Save, yep, save him. Manaya, you're welcome. Rasa, you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. This has been, like I said, this has been fun. I'll try to sneak some in one day, soonish. I like being on camera. It's never bothered me. I used to do stand-up comedy. Well, I tried to do stand-up comedy and just was going nowhere very quickly, and decided that that was not a good career choice. On the other hand, I didn't think being a lawyer was a better career choice. So somehow that torturous route ended up here. Any news about payment options? Let's see, what can I tell you? We were going to have, and still plan on having Stripe as another payment option, and we're talking to a couple other people as well. So we are definitely going to have multiple payment options. Again, my reason for not doing it is, the same as for why I haven't hit up the the builders tiers with, additional big pledges or even guild tiers or things like that. We haven't earned the right to do so. We'll get into beta, and you guys will see how much work we put in and how really good some of this stuff feels, and then we'll be happy. What I say, except chickens and goats is payments. Good one. Only if they're prepared properly, I guess. Tally, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Look, it's hard on all of us. It's hard on everyone here. It's harder. It's hard on you backers, and it's even harder to trust. We've all been burned by developers, by publishers, and you have, you meaning the collective group, has every right to be concerned. The difference is, and I cannot say it enough, that the biggest difference between this game and almost everyone else's Kickstarter crowdfunded back game, I'm putting my own money into it. And for those people who've asked for refunds and have gotten them, uh, you know, uh, I'm on the hook here for a lot more money than anybody else. And the difference that it will make into my life if this game fails is significant. Um, but I'm willing to do it because I love the team I'm working with. I love the game I'm working on, and for the vast majority of you folks, I love our backers and I love our community. And so, if you need any other reason to keep faith, it's that I'm putting my own money into the game, and not just a little bit of money. You guys can do the math. We said that we were going to need 5 million initially to create Camelot Unchained. That I was going to be putting in half. The developers, the backers, would be putting in half, and we've already been 3 years into it. So Again, you guys could figure it out. Who did I look up to as a stand-up comedian? Two that I really liked at the time. One, of course, was the great and late and great Robin Williams. Another one was a guy by the name of Richie Belzer. Bells was this fantastic club comedian. Absolutely amazing. He didn't have, and some of you may know him from TV, but Belzy was just outstanding in improv work, where he would just go after the crowd, or the crowd would, throw things at him, phrases, words, things like that, or insult him. So he would insult them back on purpose. It was great. He was just brilliant and filthy. So it wasn't good for TV at the time, but he was a stud. And Robin Williams was, he was Robin, and just an amazingly talented, man. So it's Richard Belzer, Oldovik. If you look up Belzer, that's his real name. And he was on, I think, Law and Order, been on a number of shows. But way back when, you know him, there you go. Bilford's got him. But way back when he was a youngin' and working the clubs in New York, he had a totally different rep, and it was awesome. Cappy, did I miss your question? Where's your question? I see a statement. What am I missing? Try again. Oh, just repeat it. I got 30 seconds, but I have to catch up. Peppy! Hey there. I saw that note about 8-mans. I didn't think there was a question there. Was that really the question, Cappy? Again, so you're asking, is it going to be solo? Is it going to be an 8-man? Is it going to be a 12-man? Again, I like, if you could just phrase a question, I'll be happy to answer it. Are we going to be forced into 8-man groups? No, I know. First of all, as everyone who's been in our stream so far have heard, we haven't committed to one group size, because you can't really say 8-mans. It's got to be 8-mans until you see the number of classes and see how they work together. So let's just assume that the word 8 or the number 8 is a question mark. Are we going to be formed into groups? The answer, and whatever, whether it's 8-man group, 10-man group, 7-man group, 6-man group, whatever the darn group number is. The answer is, we've been, again, very clear about this. It's 2 parts. 1, we don't know if it's an 8. Well, 3 parts. 2, we want there to be solo play. If there isn't solo play, I won't be happy, because I am, as you all know, who've been listening to us. Knight, I got it. I'm going to answer your question next. I am a solo player. I love playing, by myself. I can be social when needed, and occasionally when I was doing my research on groups and guilds and other games, way back in the day, I played some other games just to see what it was like when you were actually talking to people. So there has to be solo play. And in terms of being forced into one specific group, no, we're going to try not to do that, whatever that number is, okay? Is that a good enough answer for now? And in terms of night, yes, you will be able to do that. The reason we haven't been doing it yet is just manpower. That's all it is. Cappy, great, super. We don't. The number of people who want to merge their lifetime add-ons compared to other things that we have to get done before beta is obviously we have more that we have to get done before beta. So we haven't been focusing on that, but it is something you will absolutely, I guarantee you will have. You have to be able to have it because, we put the lifetime add-ons up, and if you can't combine them, that is just kind of silly. Hi, sis. Good evening to Germany. We were just about to sign off, but since you just came in, if you have any question, I'll stick around a couple more minutes to answer it. I'm going to go change the topic name on the forums since I will no longer be here. Well, I may be here for a few minutes, but I won't be streaming. I certainly want to get... oops. I want to get a couple more things done before I call it a night, and it's just faster if I can get it done without having to worry about talking to. Okay. Hey, to Mallorca. You're taking, one of our favorite junior programmers in Ops Guide. Can't blame you. Good guy, and Mallorca is great. Hope to get there. 2 Access will be moved up to Beta 1. Is this still the case? Liz, Luke, of course it's still the case. That would be terrible if I backed off on that. Yeah, so I thought about the question. I think the answer is George. And the reason why is that actually nothing to do with his programming. When we hired George, it was really focused on his programming abilities. And we quickly found that George was more than just a programmer and more than just a small team, kind of leader. That he not only could do more, but was willing to do more and do more on his own. And so it was because of that we made the decision to build the studio then around him. You can't just build a studio, right? You can't just open up an office and go, hey, we're going to stock it full of people. You have to have somebody or multiple somebodies there to get it off the ground. And, if we hadn't had George, we wouldn't have done it. Not then. We would have still been looking for the right person, to build the team around. So I think in that way, I would say he surprised us the most. In terms of his programming ability, no, he hasn't surprised us at all. He's lived up to all of our expectations. I had, pretty high expectations for him. I had a very good read on him. At least I thought I did, and it was right, and he turned out to be even more on the non-programming side, which is great. Zerg, yes. Just to answer your question, we've got a really good group of guys and gals out there. We have beaten out other studios, bigger studios, for their talent, which is great. I couldn't be happier with who we have. I am absolutely overjoyed at the team's talent level, and so far their commitment to the studio and to making good things happen. So I am very, very happy with the folks out in Seattle. Obviously, you guys all know Um, you know, sorry, I just saw an email. Uh, 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 Train derailed. Seattle, right, and Virginia. I am happy, extremely happy with both teams. You guys know who've been watching the streams forever, or even the last year, know that how highly I think of the guys and gals here in Virginia. They have my love. They have my support. These are people who've, a lot of them were junior and are working their way up. And they've done it under more difficult conditions, actually, than the Seattle people. Because they were, the Seattle people were coming in when a lot of the hard things were solved. And they also are coming in at a time where we have more engineers. When we were walking out the door on Friday, one of the people said to me, "It's nice now that we can start thinking about getting things done, and we can actually assign people to do it without worrying about what they won't be doing." So that's really cool. Zwerg, well, we've got Stripe going up hopefully in January, if not before, and so you can get in via there, via Stripe, and then we'll have some other choice, multiple choices as well. In terms of the serious math for blueprints, since I don't know exactly what he's referring to, there are a couple things it certainly could be. I would say I honestly don't know the answer to that. From SIS, do we have enough manpower and financials? Certainly the financials and programmers, yes, now we do. We've got now 5 programmers out there, and so I'd say we are now at the team size I just wanted. And I am planning on getting more, but I think we now have the right number of programmers to deliver the game in a timely fashion. And as you folks know, who backed the game initially, I always said that we needed to have at least a dozen programmers on the team. So, this is nothing new. Surreal, oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you've enjoyed the games that I've made, either myself back in the Aussie days or from the Mythic days. I appreciate your backing. All right, then, since it's now 5:15, which is pretty typical for me, running over. I do tend to talk a lot. I am going to try to stop the stream without breaking something. Let's wrap it up. And ooh, there it is. I think that will work. And let us call it an afternoon. I'm glad you enjoyed it, or an evening in the case of you folks in Europe and other places. And, I will see you hopefully, probably not, well, maybe certainly on Friday. I don't know if I'll do another stream before, Abu Dhabi. Who knows? Maybe I'll stream from Abu Dhabi. One never knows. Right now, I've got one backer who said that they'll be in Dubai at the same time, and they'll come over to see me over in Abu Dhabi, which would be great if we ever get together. If anyone hears this and they're part of it, part of our community, and would like to chill and hang out, get a coffee or something while I'm there, go right ahead. I'd love to hear from you. Send a message to support at MJ Goes to Abu Dhabi, which is so cool. Also, for you folks in the West Coast, especially the Pacific Northwest, we'll be doing a get-together in Seattle in the middle of December. Our get-togethers are informal. For those of you who have been there, We don't do any big stage presentation, anything like that. A, not in the budget, and B, frankly, not us. But if you're interested in just hanging and meeting me, Lady J, Michael, and maybe some other of our people as well, let me know on the forums, and we'll try to organize something. To the great O2, hey O2. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm going to the F1 because that's what they invited me to. I've never been to an F1 race. It's certainly not that something that I said, hey, I'm a huge F1 fan. Oh, I like it. I've just never liked it enough to go and see it anywhere. So this should be, interesting. Going to meet with a good friend of mine when I'm out there. He's flying in from Asia to talk some business, so that's going to be kind of cool, and also just to hang out. And he's on his way to Europe, so it's like perfect. He's like, yeah, I'll come this way, and we'll chill for a day or so and talk, and then head up to Europe. So it'll be fun seeing him and talking some business, and then we'll see what else happens. So yep, that's it for me. And once again, folks, thanks for hanging out, and as always, we appreciate your support, and I'll see you soon. Bye.